Hello there. Can you hear me now? I hope you can. I have just started using StreamYard again because for a while I was using it, but I stopped and tried to use another streaming company, and now I'm using StreamYard again. And I don't know, I might like it. I might like StreamYard. I don't know. This might not be something that I keep on my channel. When I do live streams, usually you can see me. And then other times when I don't want you guys to see me, the screen is like totally black. And everybody's like, I can't see you. I can't see you. You know what I mean? So I wanted to at least give you like an avatar to see or something like that. So that's the reason why I have, my Soncerae avatar. I'm gonna use StreamYard for when, I don't want you guys to see. Because sometimes I don't have my hair combed, or sometimes I don't like, you know, where I currently am. So anyway, it's hard out here for a pimp. I haven't got my child support check in like 3 months. Like I'm no longer living in the lap of luxury for 3 months. I haven't got my little $60 a week. I'm not bullied. I'm over here struggling because I didn't get my little $60 a week. I'm feeling the pain. I'm feeling the pain. But when I think about my past relationship, and I get to think about it a lot because every time I see my son, I'm reminded of the last relationship I was in, which was actually a monogamous one, and I still ended up getting cheated on, which is so strange. And people was actually thinking I was the side chick in the situation. I'm like, no, it's the other way around, boo boo. I'm sorry, you're misinformed. But when I think about my last monogamous relationship, I think about how I was polyamorous for years before that. And I got into polyamory in like 2010. Now, I just did a live stream about polyamory the other day. If you didn't see it, check it out. But I'm talking about, my experiences, and I'm trying to explain to everybody the difference between promiscuity and polyamory. And it's two very different things, but a lot of people think it has something to do with multiple sex partners when really it's about loving multiple people. And a lot of people feel like they can't fathom that. But when you hear a monogamous couple and one of them is cheating, and you hear, or has cheated, and you hear the person who cheated discuss truthfully and honestly what made them cheat, and they sit there and they talk about the two people that they love and how they love these two people in two different ways. And sometimes a person who has cheated will claim that the person on the side, the secondary person, is not as loved as the primary person, right? And honestly, I feel like they're only doing that just to appease the primary person, because the primary person might be somebody that they have invested a lot of time and energy to, and they don't want to lose what they built. But I don't think if you are in love with two people or love two people that you can measure who you love more or who you care for more. Because I think if, you could talk about how much you like someone. Like you're like, oh, I mean, I like this person, but I kind of don't like this person. I doubt it. If you didn't care about them, you probably wouldn't be around them for an extended amount of time. Some people, like, you know how some cheaters have like a casual like sex thing, and they only see that person if they want to have sex. Well, there are people who are cheating on their primary partner, and they are doing things outside of having sex with that secondary person. And so trying to understand why monogamous people cheat is equivalent to people trying to understand why a polyamorous person is poly. Promiscuity is just basically a whole bunch of people having sex with each other, even people that's supposed to be in monogamous relationships. Polyamory is about having more than one relationship, committed relationship. Now, people think you can only have one committed relationship. That's just what you can fathom. There are some other people out there that can have, all types of relationships, different types of relationships, and be able to juggle. Because I know for me, I've seen people be in monogamous relationships and still be able to find time to cheat. Like, how? Like, I'm so productive all day, every day that I don't even have time for one relationship most days. So it's like most days I don't even know what the day is because I'm so productive. Like, I don't like telling me it's Saturday morning is something that I will have to figure out like after I've been awake for a couple of hours, you know what I mean? Or went half through the day to be like, oh yeah, today's Saturday because I'm so productive every day. So it's easy for me to get lost and into what day it is or what time it is. But hey Mark, what's up? But polyamory is not for everyone, just like monogamy isn't for everyone. And there are some pros and cons to polyamory. And so I'm gonna get into that. So first, we're gonna talk about the pros, and then second, we're gonna talk about the cons. All right. So one of the pros of polyamory is that there's a lot of honesty and transparency. It's a lot of good communication. Now I'm speaking from experience. I think it was 2009, maybe 2010 when I decided to be poly. Because that's when I was introduced to it. And I decided to be like single for a very long time until 2017 when I met my son's father and we ended up in a monogamous relationship. Even though I offered polyamory to him, he was not down for it. He wanted monogamy. He wanted a specific type of traditional situation, and I had respect for that in him, and I cared for him. So it was okay for me to deprive myself of some of the things that I desired just for him. Now that's the reason why a lot of people who are monogamous relationships end up staying in these relationships, because they feel like it's some type of bond there. When you sacrifice for someone else, when you deprive yourself of someone or something, a lot of people feel like you're doing that for them. So it creates a stronger bond, you know. If that person appreciates that, sometimes you could sacrifice all types of things for somebody else in a monogamous relationship and they don't even appreciate that. So those are things you got to worry about. Hey, Anna. Hey, KB. Good morning, babes. That's number one. So one of the pros of polyamory is honesty, transparency, and good communication. All right. Because you got to literally like talk stuff through. And in order to even be comfortable inside a polyamorous relationship, you got to be real honest with yourself and real confident in yourself and be able to communicate with everybody that's involved. You have no choice because it's more than one person that you're dealing with. And everybody needs to know enough information to be able to decipher whether they want to continue to be included inside of it. So you have no choice but to be honest and transparent and have good communication. Okay, the second pro of polyamory is usually these polyamorous relationships are solution based. So this is kind of a segue from the first pro, like relationship appraisal. And it's like after you make a plan or after you change something inside of the situation, you have to discuss what you experience. So if you two decided that you wanted to bring on this new partner, you discuss it later on. So how do you feel about this, new partner that we brought in, X, Y, and Z, the things you like, the things you don't like, pros and cons. So it's kind of the same when I was talking about good communication. You are consistently doing relationship appraisal and you're trying to find a solution to any type of negative experience you may have or any type of thing that may complicate the relationship. You are consistently looking at ways to smooth the relationship out. In monogamous relationships, a lot of people believe that when they're doing relationship appraisal or they're doing solution based uh, activities or techniques inside of their relationship, that it's more of work. You know what I mean? Like it's more of something that we got to sit down and be kind of pressure into doing, like where we stand, what's happening with our relationship. You don't feel that same pressure in a polyamorous situation. It's kind of like the relationship appraisal is a lot smoother. You know what I mean? It's just easier to deal with because it's almost like, okay, we're doing something different with our situation, and it's almost refreshing to sit down and discuss, you know, where we stand in this relationship with more than one of us. It's like a community. I want to say community effort, but at the same, like, you know how you sit down and you have like group conversations and it's always cool to figure out everybody's perspective. It's kind of like that. You know, kind of how we sit in the chat and we can have a conversation and everybody can talk about what they think and what they disagree with or what they agree with. And no one is getting offended really. It's just like a mature conversation. It's that same way in a polyamorous relationship. Okay. Hey, Scorpio God. So that's number two. Number three, the third pro of being in a polyamorous relationship is that there are clear rules and guidelines and boundaries, because you have to make sure everybody is emotionally and mentally safe inside of that situation. You cannot be emotionally broken or mentally unstable in a relationship like that. It's no way. Like I was talking about in the last live stream, you have to be secure. You have to be confident in yourself. It's not going to work out. Okay, it's not going to work out if you in it for the wrong reasons, if you are breaking communication, if you're not mature. Like you literally have to be able to have a extreme amount of discipline to be able to be in a polyamorous relationship, because it's rules, and I'm talking about the rules are very clear. And I think when people think of poly relationships, they think it's all willy-nilly and unorganized and people just walking around here just doing whatever. No, it's like more rules than a monogamous relationship, and they're very clear, and everyone follows these guidelines and these boundaries. And if you don't, then you either get put out. It's almost like a Facebook group, or you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing I could really like try to compare it to. You know, you got admins, you got moderators. Like you do something crazy, you out the group. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it goes. It is very specific, and you follow those rules to the T. It's no gray areas. It's this or it's not this. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, hey Randy, what's up? Hey Janet. You said women can't accept or deal with some honesty from men, so it will be some dishonesty in this situation. Not necessarily. I mean, for you to say that women can't accept or deal with some honesty from men, you would also have to say, hey, men can accept or deal with some honesty from women. And that's usually what happens in monogamous relationships. When you're dealing with a polyamorous person, usually they don't have, we don't have that type of like thing hovering over us. There's no jealousy, there's no hang up about honesty. Polyamory people are built very different, because the main rule that polyamorous people have inside of their situation is the fact that we got some transparency with each other and we're very honest with each other. That's the number one thing. So if you can't do either one of those, then you're not a polyamorous person. Polyamory is something that comes naturally. It's part of who you are. It's part of your character, as far as honesty and transparency and comfortability with yourself goes. These are things that you have as an individual just naturally. That's why I tell people polyamory is not really like a choice. You know what I mean? It's more like that's just the kind of person you are. Just how you're heterosexual just naturally, or you're homosexual just naturally. It's the same thing with polyamory. You don't just decide one day to be polyamorous. 9 times out of 10, you were thinking about being poly before, and you're confident in yourself. You don't do that jealousy stuff. Like I've never been the type of woman that's been jealous ever. I don't remember ever getting on a dude about him dealing with another chick, even if he cheated on me, right? And I caught him cheating, I would be extremely calm for reasons I can't believe. You know what I'm saying? Because all I really wanted out of him was the truth, you know. So anyway, that's number three. The pros, one of the pros of polyamory is clear rules, guidelines, boundaries, so that people are emotionally and mentally safe. Okay, the fourth pro to being in a polyamorous relationship is growth. You let go of old toxic behaviors you held on to. If you're new to polyamory, let's say you've been having a feeling that you polyamorous, or you want multiple partners, or you can fall in love with more than one person. And like I said, polyamory is not for everyone, and neither is monogamy. Okay, some people just can't be monogamous. Some people just can't be polyamorous. It's fair. It's just two different ways of living. Some people black, some people white, some people female, some people male, some people homosexual, some people heterosexual. It's just different. It's not worse or better. It's just different. Okay, so if you've been thinking most of your life that, okay, I might be poly, right? And then you decide, okay, I'm going to water this plant. You grow. You literally, all of the old toxic behaviors you had, you evolve from, you expand, and you open your mind to new things. You begin to think freely and release. You know what I mean? You get new ideas and new ways of being. It's like freedom. You release because you're becoming who you always wanted to be. You just wasn't being that before. It's the same thing when somebody that's homosexual just decides randomly, oh, I'm gonna come out the closet now, or like someone who was trans. They're like, oh, I'm gonna come out the closet now and just be trans. I felt like I was a woman all of this time, and I've been wanting to dress like a woman, even though I got a man body. Now I want to dress like a woman. You know what I'm saying? It's a freedom there. You know, a segue to that for number 5, when we're talking about the pros and cons uh, of polyamory. um Kalia, it's the order of God. He says men of righteousness can have as many wives that he can righteously take care of. It has to be order in it. Now, see, when you're talking about religion, right? There's a different set of boundaries and rules on top. But if you come to people who have been indoctrinated to believe in monogamy, when you tell them, especially religious people or Christian people or people who are really, really deep into their religion, they overlook that fact, Kalia. They overlook that, Miss Benton. You know what I'm saying? They forget that that's even in the Bible altogether. And especially with women, like, I don't understand how two people can get married to each other, right? And some people think it has nothing to do with religion, but they got married in a church. They got married with a preacher, but they think it has nothing to do with religion, right? And then they put this monogamous like ball and chain on themselves and think that it does have something to do with religion. Like, you got two different types of couples. You got couples who get married and they think it has nothing to do with religion, yet they got married in the church. Then you got other couples who got married in the church who base their marriage around religion, but they forget that polygamy was part of the Bible. They be like, oh, that was the Old Testament or the New Testament. Like, they try to apply biblical stuff to their marriage that they feel comfortable with, not everything, you know? But what I can say that I don't think I saw in the Bible was that women were having multiple husbands. I do know that men were having multiple wives and concubines, but women weren't having that. You feel me? Anyway, yeah, it's not about sex, it's about helping and building together. Hey, Bullets. So I don't know if I explained that because I sound a little like because I couldn't figure out how to explain what I was trying to say. So I hope that was kind of clear. If it was confusing, just let me know in the chat and I'll try to explain it again. So anyway, the segue from the fourth pro of polyamory, where I was talking about growth. You let go of old toxic behaviors that you held on to. You evolve, you start free thinking, you release, you get new ideas. The next pro of polyamory is freedom and acceptance. And this is a segue from the previous pro, where you feel like some type of liberation, like you're releasing the concept of owning a person, like they're your slave. You realize that you're actually sharing love. You're sharing love with more than one person. You don't have ownership over a person how monogamy is. Monogamy makes people feel like they own their husband or their wife. And if anybody touches them, that's an issue. Even with me being in the last monogamous relationship I was in with my son's father, I always said to him, if you feel like you're trapped or in prison or like this is a jail, you feel like your freedom is taken away, you let me know because I will release you. Because this is not a relationship I want to have where you feel like you trapped in or that I own you. You are your own person. You are an individual. You make up your own mind. You make up your own choices, and it's up to you. As long as you can look yourself in the mirror at night and be okay with yourself, you go ahead and do what you got to do. But if you feel like I'm trapping you or I'm controlling you, you tell me that, and I will set you free. Because I don't want any relationship, whether it's polyamorous or monogamous, to feel like a trap. I can't do that. I can't do that at all. You feel me? I can't do that. So the fifth pro of being in a polyamorous relationship is freedom and acceptance. The people that you're dealing with, they're also polyamorous too. It's not like you're monogamous. I mean, you're polyamorous and you're dealing with a monogamous person who's going to be judgmental of you because you're poly. No, you're dealing with a polyamorous person too. Usually, once you become poly, you start attracting other poly people and you start being a part of a community of poly people and how poly people behave. And we all understand that each poly couple creates their own rules and guidelines and boundaries so that it can be emotionally and mentally safe for everybody involved. Okay. All right. The next pro of polyamory. Um, I used to do cooking tutorials, happy days. I used to do cooking tutorials, but this is not a cooking tutorial live stream, dear. When I do a cooking tutorial live stream, I'll let you know. Okay, so the next pro of polyamory is the lack of scarcity. Like there's no limited love. You know what I mean? Like, you know how in a monogamous relationship you have the fear of depletion, like maybe he or she won't love me anymore. It's not that. It's like an abundance of love. It's like ongoing love. You know what I mean? You share with other people in a non-threatening way. You love deeper and often because you have more than one person that you're loving. So it's the way that love is, you never worried. Like, oh, this person isn't gonna love me anymore. It takes the pressure of that off. Because the person that you're with, you know they love you for reasons that's deeper than the superficial reasons people love you in a monogamous relationship. In a monogamous relationship, a lot of people are worried about, what can this person do for me? Is this person pretty? Is this person, does this person have pretty skin? Does this person have money? Is this person, the superficial shit that keep people in relationships? That happens a lot in monogamy. In polyamory, it's not so much. It's like all of that stuff is taken off. All of the stuff that we use when it comes to our ego is gone. It's like humility is brought into a polyamorous relationship. It's not there. Like it's you know how let me tell you a story before I move on to the next pro of being in a polyamorous relationship. When I first got introduced to the swingers lifestyle, right? And this was many years ago. When it first was introduced to me and I started going to the swingers club, what surprised me about everybody is everybody was so calm and so themselves. And it was such a comfortable environment because, number one, in order for you to be in a swingers club, you can't have on any clothes. So, whatever it is that you put on your body to make people look at you like at a regular club, all that's gone. Like, you know how a girl could put on a nice dress and a fake attitude like she all that in a club, in a regular club, in a regular nightclub? You don't have that in a swingers club. That's gone because you either in the naked, in a towel, or in some lingerie. So all you worried about is your skin. Like, are you fit? Really? But then again, you're not worried about that because everybody that's walking around there is like a normal person. It's like they have normal bodies. They're not like super buff like they're at the gym or you know, it's just people comfortable in their own skin, regardless to their size, regardless to their weight, regardless to their height. Is everybody is so comfortable in their own skin. When you sit there and you're having a conversation with them, the conversations are very different. The type of superficial conversations that you have with people when you meet them at the nightclub, or the conversations that you have with people when you're talking on social media platforms. You know how people like put on a facade and stuff all the time? That is totally gone at the swingers club. No one acts like that at the swingers club. I promise you. So when you're dealing with a polyamorous relationship, right? No one is behaving that way either. In a polyamorous situation, the humility is there. All right. So what was said, you have to take the religion out of it, but the relationships and religious beliefs in your right, people take from it what they want to only use. Yes. In monogamous relationships and marriage, people only apply religion to it when it's suitable for them. They could see another commandment or another verse or another chapter and not like it and overlook it altogether and don't and act like they didn't even see it. All right. So number 6. So let's go over why we're on 6. The first pro of polyamory is honesty, transparency, good communication. The second one is relationship appraisals are more comfortable, okay? Because it's a solution based relationship appraisal type of conversation. All right. The third pro of being in a polyamorous relationship are clear rules, guidelines, boundaries, because everybody involved want everybody to be mentally and emotionally safe. Okay. The fourth one is growth. You let go of old toxic behaviors you held on to. You evolve. You're open to new things. You free think. You're released. You're mentally released. You have new ideas. The fifth one is freedom and acceptance, like liberation. You are releasing the concept of owning a person like a slave. Okay. The sixth one is limited love, the fear of depletion, that the person that you're in a relationship with doesn't love you anymore or might fall out of love with you. It's so much abundant love everywhere you go. That's not something you have to worry about. Okay. All right. So, hip hop studios, you said, so is sex. No, sex does not stem. Oh, here we go. Sex does not stem polyamory. Promiscuity. Sex stems promiscuity. Promiscuity and polyamory are two different things. Don't get the word poly confused because you think because quantity, the quantity. Poly means multiple. It just means that you have more than one person that you are in a relationship with or in a marriage with. It's not about sex. Having more than one sex partner is promiscuity. Polyamory is sharing love or friendship or being in a relationship or marriage with someone else. Polyamory or polygamy. It's about being in a relationship or loving more than one person. It's not about sex. All right. Okay. So, number 7, the seventh pro of being in a polyamorous relationship is there is no illusion of a relationship only being successful in one way, because people feel like a relationship can only be successful is monogamous. That's not true. There are different types of successful relationships. There are also different types of dramatic relationships, because you can be in a polyamorous relationship and that drama might show its face if you chose the wrong person to have a polyamorous relationship with. Just like a monogamous relationship, if you choose the wrong person to have a monogamous relationship with, you're going to be screwed, because a lot of time people come into relationships, even monogamous ones, for the wrong reasons. A lot of people come into polyamorous relationships trying to use polyamory as a solution for a troubled relationship. Polyamory is only going to shine light on how much dysfunction a monogamous relationship already has. So you can't use polyamory as a band aid for your broken monogamous relationship. Okay? All right? Don't forget that. All right. So the illusion of it only being one way. monogamy usually has gray areas. You know, like you ever been in a relationship, right? A monogamous relationship. Okay. Now again, monogamy is not for everybody. Polyamory is not for everybody. It's only for certain select people. Not everybody can deal with this. But you ever, yeah, like you said, Scorpio God, you can't be in any type of relationship if you are insecure and damaged. You can't be in a monogamous or a polyamorous relationship. You can't be in either or. But you ever been in a relationship where a monogamous relationship where you got these gray areas like, can you be close friends with the opposite sex? Can you share the secrets about your monogamous relationship with someone else? In a polyamorous relationship, like I said a minute ago, you forced to talk about what works and what doesn't work. All right. So these are things that are kind of like what's making a polyamorous relationship kind of better because there's no gray area whatsoever because you're consistently communicating all of the time every day about the same things you know so that things can be smoother when you decide to start talking about the relationship. You There's a clear set of guidelines, there's clear communication. Everyone involved is trying to create a drama-free situation. And this is why a lot of people choose polyamory because it's solution based. It's more of like, I'm coming into this relationship, a cool, calm person that don't even really got an ego. I'm not insecure. I'm confident in myself. I see the world from a different perspective than the average person, and this is just it is what it is. You know, there's not a lot of BS going on when you're dealing with a lot of polyamorous people because poly people don't go for it. It's just we prefer drama-free situations. Now, just because I'm polyamorous, and it just might be the thing for other poly people. This might be something that they can relate to too. What I'm about to say. Just because I'm a polyamorous person doesn't mean I can't be in a monogamous relationship. You know what I mean? Like I can choose monogamy, and just like I was talking about the other day, where I was talking about how women violently push monogamy on men all of the time. And it's usually the woman initiating monogamy all of the time because men do not want to be deprived. And when they do get into these monogamous relationships, it's because they're trying to appease the woman that they're with. And usually they're depriving themselves of something that they want out of the relationship that they're not getting. Both men and women do that in monogamous relationships all of the time. And a lot of people aren't very honest about what it is that they want out of the relationship that they're in. A lot of people don't even tell you some of the stuff that they want in a relationship. And I feel like, honestly, if both people were extremely honest about what they wanted out of the relationship, neither one of them would probably choose monogamy. Because when you go to one person to try to get everything that you need out of them, companionship, somebody to help you grow with, somebody to just help you with the bills, help you with the kids, want to go out and have fun with, want to talk to, want to travel with. I mean, all of the things that people want inside of a relationship, a lot of times people can't live up to that. It's a lot of people that could hear all of the things that you want inside of a relationship and just be like, I can't live up to all that. That's a lot. So when people choose poly relationships, a lot of the times it has to do with, hey, I got a lot of love I want to share, or hey, I need more love than the average person wants. you know Also, I feel like the reason why a lot of people choose monogamy is because they feel like it's the only type of relationship that they can have. Okay, so the next pro to being in a polyamorous relationship is there's no pressure. You're not pressuring your partner to do something that they do not enjoy, because you have another partner there that most likely enjoys something that one of your partners doesn't. Okay. So this goes back to when I talk about deprivation and making sacrifices, and inside of a monogamous relationship, a lot of people feel trapped because they're depriving themselves of something, or they're sacrificing or going without something in order to be inside of that relationship. But I think that it's important that people don't deprive themselves just to be inside of a relationship. And honestly, when we see so many people sit here and cheat on each other and lie to each other and mistreat each other, you can tell that there's some type of deprivation inside of these relationships. And this type of stuff is happening all the time with monogamous relationships. I'm not speaking to y'all about something that's you don't ain't never heard of. We hear about people cheating and lying and mistreating each other in monogamous relationships all the time. This is not a brand new thing. So I'd rather have one romantic sexual partner and other as platonic friends. Ebony knowledge, that's fair. Like I said before, monogamy is not for everyone, just like polyamory is not for everyone. Being heterosexual is not for everyone, just like being homosexual is not for everyone. But I think people believe that because other people are not like them, that there must be something wrong with them. Just because a person hasn't chose what you choose for your life doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. It means that they're different from you. We all get to choose what type of way we want to live. And what I notice is a lot of people wants everyone to live identical. Like everyone has to gang together and live this one way. No. What good is that going to do any of us if we're all living the same way? I don't understand why anybody would want that. Like, I don't want someone else's life. I want my own. I'm a unique human being. There's things that I want that you don't, and there are things that you want that I don't. Hip Hop Studios, how do you distribute your devotion equally? Well, that's the thing. You get to distribute your devotion how you want to distribute your devotion. You don't have, like, you're not going to have a partner. And this is something that I was talking about when I was talking about hierarchy. A lot of times in polyamorous relationships, you don't have to try to treat two people equal, because they're not ever going to be equal, or they're not one's not going to be more important to you than the other, because it is no hierarchy there. It's just us. So if you in a situation where you're in a poly relationship and you have a primary and a secondary partner, because there's some people that have that, a primary partner knows their place, and a secondary partner knows their place as well. So they're usually comfortable. Like, say for instance, we got side dudes and side chicks out there that are comfortable with being side dudes and side chicks. Don't act like y'all don't know this. In monogamous relationships, right? There are so many people out there that are getting cheated on, and they're getting cheated on by a person who has a side chick or side male that is very comfortable with just being secondary. Everybody's end game isn't to be primary with some people. Like, you've ever dated somebody and you're dating them, right? But you would never consider being married to them. Or you ever just been having casual sex with someone, but you don't want to be in a relationship with them. You just want to casually enjoy whatever y'all experiencing. You ever had some platonic friends, of the opposite sex? You never wanted to do anything other than just be their platonic friend, right? It just because you're two opposites and you just like hanging out with each other doesn't mean that the end game is supposed to be y'all supposed to hold on to each other forever, or this person is supposed to be your primary person forever. That's not what that means. And for some reason, people feel like they got to hold on to everybody for dear life or put them in the primary position in order for them to feel comfortable. No, some people just like to be Indians. Not everybody want to be a chief. Some people want to be Indians. And so in a polyamorous situation, you got some chiefs, you got some Indians. And some people just okay with that arrangement. Okay. So, Borden's world, you said, I'm not insecure, just don't see a need to bring another woman into my marriage. Good. Now, okay, then let's bring another man into our relationship. My husband will say no. So, why the double standard? It's not a double standard. It's not supposed to be a double standard. Listen, polyamory is supposed to work both sides. Like I said the other day when I was doing a live stream, there is a woman on YouTube right now. She's a content creator. She does fashion. Her name is Passion. I think her name is Passion. She has two husbands. She just posted a video recently about her being poly. If you go onto YouTube and you put poly in the search and you change your filters to poly videos that have been posted within the past month, I think Passion Jones is her name. She has two husbands. Polyamory goes both ways. For some reason, people keep thinking only men, only this is a privilege of a man. That's not polyamory. It goes both ways. And if you're dealing with a man who can't do that, he's not polyamorous. I'm not sitting here having this live stream to convert monogamous people into polyamorous people. What I'm trying to get people to understand is why poly people are poly and how it's different from a monogamous relationship, and the preconceived notions that you have about it are 9 times out of 10 incorrect because you're misinformed. I'm only here to give you information, not try to change your mind about what kind of relationship you should be in. Okay? Because only you get to choose what kind of relationship is comfortable for you. All right? So I was saying, no pressure. One of the pros of being in a polyamorous relationship is no pressure. You're not pressuring your partner to do something they don't want to do. And the segue to that is fulfillment. That's the next pro. You get a lot of fulfillment. You get fulfilled in your situation because you have more than one person loving you and you're loving more than one person. Now, again, if you're a monogamous person, you might not be able to handle that if you are not secure and confident. And no matter what a married person says or a monogamous person says or a person that's inside of a relationship, you are insecure if you feel some type of way about your husband or wife looking in the direction of another woman and saying, hey, this woman is beautiful. Hey, I might want to go have dinner with that woman. Like if your husband says to you, that woman's over there, she's beautiful, right? How would you feel as a woman? Would you feel less beautiful? Because that's not what that is. Why can't it be, I'm a beautiful woman, and the woman that my husband is looking at is also a beautiful woman as well? Why does my beauty deplete simply because my husband sees another woman who is also beautiful? Women try to say that they're not insecure all of the time, but they put these type of rules and expectations on their husbands, like my husband isn't allowed to look at any other woman or acknowledge that it's even another woman prettier. Yeah, there are men out there who get into their marriages and they don't need all of that. They only need one woman because they're monogamous people. But if you notice, most people who are getting inside of monogamous relationships, they are not monogamous people, ergo the cheating. That's why the cheating is even taking place to begin with. That's why so many relationships are breaking up from cheating, because most people who are getting into monogamous relationships, they are not monogamous people. They are poly. Polyamory is more common. Promiscuity is more common. Being in a monogamous relationship and being with one person your entire life is what's rare. People do it, but it's still rare. It's the exception to the rule. Monogamy is a exception to the rule. People like multiple sex partners. People like multiple relationships because there's one thing that they're getting out of their marriage or their relationship, and they're looking in another direction trying to get something else that they're not getting from their regular relationship. Now, what makes people insecure, what proves that they're insecure, is when they lie about it. That's the only difference between being polyamorous and being promiscuous, is that poly people genuinely love people. Promiscuous people, they might love the other partner that they have, but usually they're misusing all of the parties involved because they're lying to everyone, they're sneaking around, they're being deceitful, selfish, a number of negative things. Polyamorous people don't deal with stuff like that. We ain't got time for that. There's no point in doing all that if you come into the table on some, listen, I'm poly. I'm not, you know, I'm going to be looking for other things in other people. Now, some people might think that that's greedy, and that's fine. That's fine to think that that's greedy. That's fine. If you genuinely feel that way, if you genuinely are a monogamous person and you feel that way, that's what you are. That's like you sitting here trying to convince everybody why you're heterosexual. You're just heterosexual. That's just what you are. And it's nothing wrong with that. Just like it's nothing wrong with you being poly. It's nothing wrong with people being promiscuous if that's what they want to do. But there's risks that come with that. I'm going to talk about that with polyamory in a minute. So the next pro to being in a polyamorous relationship is the added support. It's not more responsibility. I think people think when you have more than one partner, it's more of a responsibility. I mean, it could be with your limited like schedules, maybe. You got to have some great time management skills in a polyamorous relationship. And you got to be very organized and you have to have a lot of discipline. And I said that. And those are actually good traits to have. It's not like that's just completely, unheard of. Having discipline and having good time management skills, it's a pretty good thing, for you and everybody involved. So you have to have that in a polyamorous relationship. But when you add on more partners, you get more support. It's not like more of a responsibility. At least it shouldn't be. Just like a monogamous relationship shouldn't be a responsibility. It should be something that you getting more support, more love, more fun, more, it shouldn't be a trap. No relationship should feel like a trap. And a lot of these monogamous relationships, people are coming into them thinking in such a limited way that the entire relationship is limited. So, um, like I said a minute ago, another one of the pros is, okay, put it like this. When I said sacrifice creates like bond, and when people resist the urge to do certain things, that means they love you and it shows commitment. That's an illusion, because most people are struggling to commit. Most people are struggling with that. Most people are cheating. Most people are lying. Most people are being deceptive. So when it looks like someone is making a sacrifice for you, or they're resisting the urge to do something as a form of committing, it's an illusion, because it's only a matter of time before they decide to no longer do that, or they're doing what it is that they want to do. They're just hiding it from you. Because at the end of the day, a person is going to do what they want to do for them. And when you try to deprive them of something that makes them happy, at one point or another, they're going to find a way to go get this stuff done. They're going to go do it. Okay? And that's the reality of all relationships. Okay. Now, let's go with the cons. I just told you all of the pros. All right. Let's go to the cons. This is what people want to hear. This is what a lot of y'all came to the channel to hear. The cons of polyamory. All right. Jealousy and insecurity. When you get in polyamorous relationships, you gotta leave the insecurity and jealousy behind. You cannot be an insecure or jealous hearted person. It won't work. It won't work. And people try to come and be polyamorous as a solution to their already broken relationships. And that's the worst thing that you can do. That's not what you're supposed to be doing with polyamory. Poly people are just poly. It's like a heterosexual person just decided, you know what? I'm having trouble with men. I'm a woman. I'm having trouble with men. So I'm going to go ahead and just be a lesbian because men are getting on my nerves. Or it's the same thing with guys. You know, I'm a guy and I've been heterosexual all this time, but you know what? Women are irking me. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm be homosexual. No, no, that's not the solution to your problem. Polyamory is not a solution to the problems in your monogamous relationship. Just like having a baby with a dude is gonna keep a man. You know how women like they love a man, they see him cheating, they going out with other women, they want the man to love them, so they think having a baby is gonna trap him. No, he's still gonna leave. It's the same thing. Okay. The man channel, you said my experience is the females come in with a secret agenda. Listen, I try to tell people all of the time, women are just as bad as men. Women can cheat too. Women can lie too. Women can have secrets. Women can be deceitful. We human here. Now, I can't say that men are a lot sloppier. Men are a lot more savage. Men are a lot more selfish and immature. Men lack emotional intelligence. Men are really, really like struggling in that department, you know? Um, so the first con of being in a polyamorous relationship is jealousy and insecurity. The second is what I said, the wrong reason. People are getting into polyamorous relationships for the wrong reason. Number three was what I said basically about time management. If you don't have good time management skills, you're going to have a difficult time balancing your schedule having a relationship with more than one person because you have to factor in everybody got a job or everybody got something that they're doing with their life. So if you got two people in your relationship, even if it's just a monogamous relationship, that's hard to keep up with. But if it's a poly relationship, you got maybe three, four people in the relationship. Okay. And when I say it's a relationship, y'all out here doing stuff together. Y'all growing together. Y'all building together. This is not just, oh, let me just schedule a time where we can screw each other. No, it's like, oh, we're going out to dinner. Oh, we're going to the movies. Oh, we have to go to counseling. Or, oh, we have to pick up one of the kids from daycare. Oh, we got to, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Oh, I got to go to this meeting or that conference. We talking about real life stuff here. We're not talking about a casual fling. We're talking about a real solid relationship. You're having more than one. So y'all helping each other with life. Okay. All right. So the next one, the next con to polyamory is what people would think would be a con is the health risk. When you have more than one partner, you have to worry about that partner sleeping with somebody else without them telling you. That's why you have to be very selective about who you choose to be polyamorous with. But at the same time, you got that same problem in a monogamous relationship. It's women out here who have husbands that gave them HIV. So don't think for 2 minutes simply because you in one relationship. Yeah, you monogamous in that relationship, but you got to look at your partner and be kind of leery. Is that person monogamous? It's women out here that have been married for years find out that their husband has been homosexual the whole time. The whole time. Some people are finding out that their husbands are sleeping with younger boys. Some women are finding out that their husbands are rapists and pedophiles. Some wives are out here, they have husbands, they knew that their husband had a side chick, and they find out that not only does he have a side chick, he has two other women with babies on the way. Just because you coming into a situation monogamous doesn't mean you have a lower health risk. Now, this may seem like a car, like I said, a health risk, but In actuality, when you are poly, you have a limited dating pool. Your pool becomes smaller because most people are trying to do monogamy. The last thing they're going to consider is polyamory because people look at polyamory sideways, just how they used to look at homosexuality. Like it's some type of terrible thing to do. Like you a pariah if you choose it. Remember when being a hoe was just crazy? Now everybody trying to do that. You got everybody out here talking about they walk. One of the most popular females inside of this country is Cardi B. And she was a prostitute. She was a stripper. Her latest song that made her billions, I'm sure, is about how wet her vagina is. Remember how absurd that would have been 50 years ago? I wish a bitch would 50 years ago make a song about her WAP. Good luck with that. Come on, man. No, 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 no. And this brings me to the fifth con about polyamory: social ostracism from vanilla minded people. People like to ostracize other people that they don't understand. And instead of trying to get the information so they can understand why a person does what they do, or to simply accept another human being for who they are and not be so judgmental, people would prefer to treat you as if you are a pariah, ostracize you, make fun of you, judge you. People do it all of the time, but yet they want others to look at them and be okay with what kind of person they are. Like how somebody came into the chat a minute ago and said, how could these people take advice from her? Well, I could look at this same person sideways like, what kind of insecure, negative ass person are you for you to be coming into a live stream, speaking in a chat, taking the energy to say something negative? This is deflection. This is just you mirroring off your negativity. So all the things that people feel bad about themselves or the stuff that they're worried about inside of themselves, they want people to accept these things, but they look at other people and how these other people are living their lives different from them, and they judge these people. No, I'm gonna let you do you. Whatever type of person you are, you go ahead and you be that, because that's for you. This is your life. This is your journey. You need to do whatever you need to do to make sure you're not happy, as long as you're not harming anybody else. Because if you start harming other people with all of your negativities and having to speak your mind and having no responsibility for what you say and do, then you become a problem. When you don't take accountability for all of the comments that you make, the bullying that you do, the cussing people out, the flying off the handle like a zoo animal, when you don't take responsibility for that, you become a problem for not just yourself, but everybody around you. The people who speak violently and viciously all of the time, talk about kicking somebody's ass all the time. These are the same people who will judge a homosexual or be racist and not like someone who is black. We're dealing with all types of people who are doing all types of different things. And instead of looking at each other or doing some self reflection, most of all, instead of looking at each other and being non judgmental, we want to judge people and classify them worse than us because of who they sleep with, because of what kind of relationship that they have. That's ridiculous. That sounds ridiculous to me. That brings me to the next thing: stepping your game up mentally. A lot of people feel that as a con because they got to raise the bar. You have to raise the bar inside of a relationship, a polyamorous one. You got to be on top of your toes. You can get lazy in a monogamous relationship easy. People gain weight, people stop working out, people stop getting their education, people stop hanging out with their friends, people do all types of things inside of a monogamous relationship. They stop doing the self-care because they're too busy trying to take care of a person that made them their all. You cannot go into these relationships and ask the other person to make you their all. Because once they do that, they start neglecting themselves. And this is when the relationship starts screwing up. These monogamous relationships screw up because everybody is looking to someone else to make them happy, to take care of them, to love them. No, when you come in a situation as an individual, you have to do your self-care. You have to step your own game up. You have to raise the bar. You compete with the person that you were last year. You be better. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Your relationships and your marriages are supposed to help you grow, not make you lazier mentally, emotionally, physically, nothing. But a lot of these monogamous relationships you get in, that's what happens. Polyamorous relationship, you can't do that. You can't do that. Because you got more than one person inside of the situation. You got more than one person. You got to step your game up. And a lot of times when you get in a polyamorous situation, let's say you're having sex with one person, right? They're teaching you stuff that you ain't do with the last person. So now, if you're the person that your partner done met somebody else and now they coming into the bedroom and they're doing all of these new tricks that they met from this other partner, what you gonna do? Sit there and be like, man, forget trying to make our sex life better. I'm just gonna, let him or her go off to this little side chick and side piece and have better sex. No, you're probably just gonna be like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's make this better. Let's do what we got to do to have more fun. You're gonna step your game up. But a lot of people feel like that's a con in polyamory because they want to be lazy. Because in a monogamous relationship, people choose laziness all of the time. And then they wonder why they get divorced. They wonder why they're broken up. People be like, oh, we don't go on date night anymore. Oh, I wonder why. You stopped dating each other. You thought once y'all stopped dating and you got married or you decided to be in a committed relationship, that the stuff that you used to do to appeal each other or that made the relationship something that you wanted to be in to begin with, now it's time for you to stop doing that. No. Okay, the man channel. Women treat boys better than when they have a honest, loyal, loving, providing man. He gets treated the worst. Okay, the man channel. Susan, you can put your question in there. I'll come to you after I do the man channel. Women treat boys better than when they have an honest, loyal, loving, providing man. He gets treated the worst. No. Let me tell you how that's incorrect. So, let me tell you a story. All right. So, yesterday I was on Facebook and I can't remember what post it was on. I started talking to this guy, and this guy was telling me that most women don't like to submit to men. Only a certain race group of women like to submit to men. And this pissed me off because I knew he was talking about Black women. I knew he was saying what everybody says, that Black women have a problem with submitting to men. And I told him right then, you're confused. It's not that women have an issue with submission. It's girls have an issue with submission. Because in order to submit, you have to be mature and have emotional intelligence. And a lot of young women haven't learned that. So the man channel, when you come in here, you say women treat boys better. No, they don't treat boys better. Girls treat boys better. Women want honest, loyal, loving, providing men. And they will treat these men well because they're women. They get it. They're mature. They understand. They have emotional intelligence. They done dealt with stuff already. They don't learn their lessons. A lot of women weren't taught to be good wives and girlfriends. A lot of us was just indoctrinated to come into a relationship to figure out what this man can do for us financially. What is he doing for me? A lot of women weren't taught how to be a good woman. And honestly, it's kind of hard to be taught how to be a good woman, because each man is different when it comes to what they want from a woman. There's no specific recipe or formula to be a good woman. There are different types of good women. So they could be you got good woman A out there. She's doing everything that good woman A's do. And you're a good man, right? But you might need good woman B. It doesn't mean that good woman A isn't a good woman. It just means she's a different type of woman. Like, nice guys feel like they match with all women. No, just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean you fit with every single woman on the planet. People want this one definition of what a good person is or what a good woman is, and that's not something that can ever happen, because we're all different. We all want and need different things. We all grew up different. We all experience different things. Some of us are damaged, some of us are not, some of us are virgins, some of us are promiscuous, some of us have been abused, some of us have been treated so well we have no clue what it's like to be in a relationship once we get out of a good relationship. Maybe our partner passed away, or maybe we was together for this one person for X amount of years and we found out this person was cheating on us. So now we looking for a new relationship and have no idea how to do that because we was with one person for 20 years. Some people just don't know. Experience is the teacher. Okay. So Susan, you said they're not worth all of the effort and time and money. If they come, it's fine. If not, oh well. Susan, I didn't see your question. Maybe Susan's gone. Sorry, Susan. So I tell a female what I want up front and I ask them what they want and I do it, but I never get what I want. You have to, demand channel, you have to do better during your selection process. I tell people this all of the time. It's your selection process. Because if you start factoring, let's say, listen, I'm 40, right? Of course, I have experienced a lot of different things, right? So there was a time where I saw red flags and I ignored them because I was sitting there trying to weigh the pros and cons of a situation. Like, okay, he does this screwed up thing, but you know what? I like that he does this. Well, just because he has a whole bunch of pros, it doesn't erase the red flags. The red flags are there for a reason. You have to trust your intuition as a human being, because your intuition tells you every single time what kind of person that you deal with. That's why I tell people, pray, meditate, get in touch with God or the universe or whatever it is. Whatever your higher power is, whatever your creator is to you, you need to get in touch with it, because the more you get in touch with it, the clearer your intuition is. You use that intuition to help guide you when you're meeting other souls. You are going to run into people who are soulless. You are going to run into people who are demonic. You are going to run into the most negative people sometimes, and they have on the best charm suit you have ever seen. They are everything you ever wanted. They're beautiful. They're saying the right things. They're doing the right things. And then suddenly you get this red flag, right? And you want it to work out so bad because you've seen all of these amazing things that they did. Maybe she fine as hell. Maybe she got a big butt. Maybe you like her hair. Maybe you like the way she laughs. It could be anything that you just love so much about this woman. And then you get this red flag. And instead of running like you're supposed to, because your intuition is telling you to, you don't trust your own intuition. And you stay dating this woman. And then y'all get together and she start doing more things and more things and more things. And you be like, what is wrong with this chick? It's because she was on demon time from day one. She wasn't emotionally ready for a situation with you to begin with. And your instincts were telling you that. You just ignored it. You got to start trusting yourself. Start trusting yourself, man. Anyway, next, a con. We're talking about cons. Remember when I was talking about hierarchy? couple privilege where you have primary, secondary partners, a lot of people can't deal with that. Just how I said, there are a lot of people out there that like to be side chicks, that like to be side dudes. There are also people who have a difficult time with being primary and secondary. Some people don't want all the responsibility of having to be a main. Some people don't like being a side chick. They feel like, they want to be promoted. Okay? It's people out there that's like that. Everybody different. Now, here's what I want everybody to understand before I go, because I'm about to leave. No relationship, whether it's monogamous or polyamorous, should feel like it's being forced. It should always feel free. If you have to force something, whether it's a monogamous relationship or not, when you have to force it or like make something happen, that includes the work that you got to put in to heal from something. If it feels like you're not naturally healing from something that your partner may have done, or maybe you're having to force your fiance to marry you, or you got to force a woman into, meeting your parents or something like that. You got to force somebody to be a father. You got to force somebody to stop drinking or smoking or something like that. That is not the relationship for you. People always want to fight for it. I fought for this and I fought for that. A relationship should not have to be something that you have to consistently fight for. What's supposed to naturally happen for you will happen for you. You don't have to fight for it. You're just flowing. You just flow. All of my friends who have been married for over 10 years, they just naturally flow together. Nothing is breaking them up. They ain't got to fight all hard. They not sitting here arguing all the fucking time. There's no trauma and drama. Yeah, they get into their little arguments sometimes because they family. That's normal. But that extreme, excessive stuff people be going through all of the time in their marriages and relationships, that is not something you're supposed to be going through. That is not something you need to be fighting for. When somebody keeps cheating on you, disrespecting you, lying to you over and over and over again after they seen you hurt, there is something going on with them that's making them not value their situation for you, with you, and that is not something you should be fighting for. Period. Okay? Don't stay in a relationship that feels like bondage or like you're suffocating. That like you got to give up on everything you want in order to be in it, because later on you resent the person that you're with. You will hate that person. If you feel like relationships are deprivation or you giving up on something you want, that's a problem. Don't do that. Hey, Mingo, that's a problem. If you giving up on something that you want, and it's a long list of stuff. I ain't talking about, in order to be in this relationship, you got to give up your side of the bed. No, I'm talking about some serious stuff. Like you got to give up your career. You got to give up your friends. You got to give up your entire family just to be with somebody. No. You got to give up your whole who you are just to be in a relationship. No. Okay. The man channel. Before I go, this is going to be, Susan, you here? Susan, I thought you left. I thought you had a question. I was going to answer your question. Um, the man channel. I've had something happen to me. I've never heard any man have a poly situation. We be intimate. I take care of both of them. They both fall asleep and I'm left hanging. It happened to me twice. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Listen, most men can't even please one woman. The man channel. Most men can't even please one woman. And you talk about sitting here pleasing two, and you still ain't pleased yourself. That shocks me. I'm like trying to figure out, is that even the truth? You telling the truth, the man? Because it's so easy for y'all to be pleased. Pleasing a man in bed is not difficult. I don't know how women have trouble with that. Because y'all so easy to please. I'm telling you, like women are so much harder to please in bed. Susan, I think us women get attached with men fast, and that's a problem. That's true. We have to attach as much as possible. Our feelings get us in a lot of trouble. I'm a victim too. Yeah, I think women, are so pressed to keep people forever. Like, you never just see a man, like, women will imagine their whole future with a man the second he gets there. After date one, a woman's like picking out a damn wedding dress. Like, come on, stop scribbling this dude's name on your notebook. Already? I was talking to Mark because Mark, I talk to him about guys all the time. Mark is my closest friend. I send him screenshots of some of the guys that be inside of my inbox. I had a guy that had only been talking to me for 2 days. We ain't been on a date. We ain't met each other in person. He was just talking to me on Instagram. This man was talking about, I love you. I want to be with you. I miss you. 2 days we've been talking. You gonna be my wife. I'm not gonna stop until you my wife. I love you. I want you. 2 days. Now, granted, he had been watching me for a while, but still, he don't know me. And I said to him, how do you feel love for somebody you don't know? You are in love with the version of me that you have in your mind. You don't even know who I am. You just know the woman that's a figment of your imagination. Women, when we get with these men and we go on these dates, we fall in love with the man that they present themselves to be. We fall in love with their representative, who they're pretending to be at first, because you don't see all the negative stuff yet. Those first couple of meetings, you don't see the stuff that will irk your nerves. You don't see that he just step out his drawers and leave them right in front of the toilet, get in the shower, and just leave them there all day instead of putting them in the hamper. You don't see that he passed gas every morning, or scratch his throat like this all morning and shit. You don't know that shit yet. You don't know. You don't know the terrible habits this person have yet on date one and date two. So of course you're gonna be in love with them. They giving you their best. But when they stop giving you their best and they start showing you who they really are you still gonna be in love? That's the question. That's the question. And for women, most of us will stay in love. We're like, I gotta make this work, because we have been indoctrinated to believe that whoever we keep in our lives forever, and if we can keep a man, is what lets society and the world know who we are. No, I'm gonna show you who I am regardless to who I'm sleeping with. And if you don't like who I am, then you can beat it. You can kick rocks. You can get your ass out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. Like, you can ignore people you don't like. So if you don't like me, then get gone. Make room for somebody that, can take your spots. Who I sleep with, whether I'm married or not, my relationship status, whether I'm a single mother, how much money I got, all of those things are all things that create a reputation and help people determine how they think about you from a distance. Because if they really got to know you and they took the time to get to know who you are as a person, they will like who you are 9 times out of 10. But when they start factoring in all this other superficial shit that has nothing to do with who you are as an individual, your character, when they start factoring all that stuff in and they looking at you from a distance, they don't know you, of course they can either love you or they can hate you. But usually it's superficial. It's not real. It's not tangible. It's an illusion of who you are. They don't care. They selfish. Right? They are selfish. I think as women, when you have sex with men and you don't please them, it's the same thing with men. If you having sex with them and you're not even trying to aim to please, what's the point of having sex? But it got to go both ways, and that's the thing. People don't want to go both ways. I've been dating a guy for 5 months, and I think I'm in love or lust. I can't imagine my life without him. Sex is amazing, and he treats me right for now. 5 months. Let me tell you something. A friend of mine, her name Juju. She been dating and she in Atlanta. She been dating a guy for 7 months. Girl, we celebrated. Let me tell you why. Because in Atlanta, A relationship lasting longer than 3 months without any drama is something to celebrate. Girl, 5 months of no drama is a good thing. Let's see if you can get through the next 5. Let's see if you can get through the next 5. If you can get to 15 months with a dude and there's no drama there, oh, you good. You made it past the 3rd month. Because I'm telling you, them 90 days, people put on their best behavior. Then after that 90 days, start getting okay. You're starting to get to see who people are. So 5 months is good, honestly. Let's see if you can get past the next 5 months, Susan. You don't know whether you in love. You don't even know whether it's lust yet. Listen, you don't know if you true. You know how some people, and this is what I was saying about people who've been married for 20 years. Sometimes people get married, right? And they only know each other for like 2 minutes, and then they get married, and their marriage lasts forever. That's an exception to a rule. Everybody's situation is not that. Everybody wants their situation to be that, but that's not everybody's situation. That's why you got to slow your roll. That's not everybody's love story. Sometimes people dated 2 years and then they got married and they good. I have a friend, and I said this in my last live stream a couple of days ago. I have a friend who's like 42, no, 48. Her husband is 52. They was dating 5 years before they got married. They just got married a couple of months ago. And they used to be at the swingers party. When I worked at the swingers club, that's when I met them. And I was dating him. I was dating I was dating him before she dated him. And he was getting on my nerves. We was getting on each other's nerves. I'm still friends with him. I'm still friends with her. When I told her when I found out that they was getting married, I said, you did good, girl. Because he real selective about who he date. I said, it's good to see both of y'all together because you know what? It worked. It worked. Because he was getting on my last nerves. He was getting on my nerves. But it's good to see that y'all found love with each other. I'm the type of woman, I don't hate my exes, or I don't hate people that I used to date. I don't look at them and be mad that they with somebody else. I might date a guy, and if he decided to be with somebody else, I might be, if he only dated me for a little while, like maybe we were only dating for like 5 months, and then I see him with somebody else. I don't feel some type of way when they contact me later on and be like, oh, I got married or something like that. I just talk to them normal. I'm cool with everybody I used to date 9 times out of 10. I think it's only like 2 dudes, maybe 3, maybe, that have given me a problem since we stopped connecting with each other. And it was me rejecting them in the end to where I had to cut them off altogether. And if I get to a point where I gotta cut you off altogether, that's you must have did something crazy. Because usually when I break things off with guys or they break things off with me, I'm cool. I'm like, okay, that's what's up, your choice. Or I break up with them and they respect it. It's only a handful of times where I don't have to reject the dude and just not talk to him again. That's a lot. Okay, I think it's beautiful when 2 people can build a life together, have children, go old together, and have grandchildren. A legacy. I know, right? That is good. I like to see that. I like to see that. Love yourself. Don't tell her that it's lust if he don't put a ring on it. He ain't gonna put a ring on it in no 5 months. Susan, if he try to put a ring on you at 5 months, you better be engaged for a little while before you get married. You hear me? You better be engaged to that dude for like a year. And then start planning your wedding after that year. Because if a dude is asking you that so soon without him fully knowing who you are, and I'm telling you, you gotta really know them. You gotta know how they're gonna deal with controversy and challenge. Because if you don't figure out how they're gonna act during those periods of time, you might find out after you're married and then end up divorced. See, people can act real good when things are good, but what if somebody's health is declining, or what if money is low? How they gonna act? How they gonna act? You know, you said not my rules is God. No, don't put your personal views on God, man. That's another thing. That's what we was talking about earlier in the live stream. Like people like to apply the Bible when it's convenient for them, like it's suitable for them. They're trying to make an argument or something like that. No, don't put that. God is not somewhere an exaggerated human being sitting on a throne in the sky. No, God is not judgmental of people like that. And people want God to be like that so bad. You forget all of the scripture that says God is all loving, God is graceful, God is merciful, God loves everybody. Y'all overlook those scriptures all the time. Be like, God is gonna judge you for your sin. This is God's word, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God, please. I call for God every time y'all do that. I'm like, God, get these people, because that's not how God works. God, listen, listen, it's not the Bible, it's God's law. Don't come in here with that religious just babble. Don't do it. Okay, you will get tired out. It's too many free thinkers in here. You know what I mean? Like if you want a Bible thump, knock it out somewhere else. Just not here. You are not going to misrepresent God in my presence. Okay? Whatever relationship you have with God, that's fair. But over here, we represent the relationship that I have with God because this is my house. And God, from what I've experienced, is not as judgmental as y'all be trying to make God be. Straight up. All right? Now, marriage and putting rings on it and all that stuff has more to do with just God. You got to get a license. You got to get a marriage license. That means marriage is also a business. Y'all could pray together all day, but if neither one of y'all got some business sense, your relationship is going to fail because you have finances to worry about, you have taxes to worry about. If you're even struggling with parenting, if you don't know how to parent your kids properly, your marriage is going to fail because it's going to cause other problems inside of the marriage. Marriage is just not about God. So listen, Susan, listen, you want to pray with this man? Pray with him. You want to burn some sage with him? Burn some sage with him. You already having sex with him. I wish you would have waited for that, but that's already done. But you need to wait to see who this dude is. How do you get honesty out of a female? You just got to find an honest female. Like I'm too transparent to where it almost hurts me. People almost hate how transparent I am. Like you don't understand. People are like, why did you tell so much? Because I'm transparent. I don't lie. And I try my hardest to not like give out too much information, especially lately, because I've decided to not give out as much information as I used to give out. But I used to use my life as like a tool to help other people. You know what I mean? I used to use my life as an example. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be telling stories, but I'm gonna be limited about my stories from now on. Like I'm gonna be, sure. Anyway, I got to go. I've been here for a while. If you have any questions, you can email me at soncerae@gmail.com and I'll come back and I'll do a live stream when I have some free time. Okay. Make sure y'all send donations. Y'all wasn't hitting me up in the super chat except for Mingo. Mingo always in my super chat showing me love. Okay, I appreciate that. All of the money that I make online when I'm getting donations, maybe my super chat, my OnlyFans, I use that to buy stock for my son. Okay, because I do work, I have a graphic design business, I have several businesses. I do have work, okay? But if you want to send me money outside of the super chat, you can cash at me at Soncerae XO. And all of the money that's sent to me, I go and buy stock on Robinhood for my son. Okay, so I appreciate anybody that is investing their time and energy into me. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you have been here with me in this live stream, and I appreciate that. Okay, have vision and stay focused, y'all. Namaste.